The market at Oja Oba was always loud, but the loudest sound was often the silence at the stalls of the other fruit sellers. I, Ngozi, had been selling mangoes for 10 years, yet I could barely afford new sandals. Next to me sat Mama Efe. Mama Efe didn't shout. She didn't haggle. She just sat there with a small silver basin of oranges. While my fruit grew soft in the sun, hers stayed glistening, as if they had just been plucked from a dream. People bypassed every other vendor, just to wait in line for her. Mama Ife, what is the secret? I asked one afternoon, wiping sweat from my brow. We use the same wholesaler, yet the crows peck at my fruit while the kings buy yours. She only smiled, a thin cold line that didn't reach her eyes. Some people work with their hands, Ngozi. I work with my spirit. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the other sellers packed their crates, I stayed behind. I hid behind the heavy wooden pillar of the grain store. I watched Mama Ife. She didn't pack her leftover oranges. Instead, she pulled a small black clay vial from her waist. She began to whisper to the air, her voice sounding like dry leaves skittering on stone. As she poured a single drop of thick, shimmering liquid onto her basin, the air grew cold. I saw a shadow, tall, thin, and not quite human, lean over her shoulder. It breathed onto the fruit, and suddenly, the dull oranges began to glow with an unnatural, hypnotic light. The next morning, the market was a frenzy. A wealthy merchant offered Mama Ife 3 times the price for her entire basin. I watched with a heavy heart, knowing now that the spirit she spoke of was a literal debt she was incurring. I couldn't stay silent, not because I was jealous, but because I saw the merchant's young daughter reach for an orange. As the girl bit into it, her eyes went dull for a second, a flicker of that same cold shadow passing through her face. Mama Eve wasn't just selling fruit, she was selling a tether to something dark. "Stop!" I shouted, stepping out from my stall. The market went quiet. I walked over to Mama Eve's silver basin, and before she could protest, I threw a handful of blessed salt, the kind my grandmother gave me for protection, directly onto the oranges. The reaction was instant. The beautiful fruit didn't just bruise, it turned to black ash in seconds. A horrific screech echoed through the marketplace, though no mouth was open. The spirit Mama Ife had used was exposed. The shadow I had seen the night before manifested for a brief, terrifying second, coiling around Mama Ife's throat, like a debt collector coming to claim a payment. "You broke the contract!" Mama Ife screamed at me, her skin suddenly turning as gray and shriveled as the ruined fruit. She tried to run, but she tripped over her own basin. By the time the village elders reached her, she was gone. Not dead, but simply empty, like a piece of fruit that had been sucked dry from the inside out. The market returned to normal after that. My mangoes still get soft in the sun, and I still wear my old sandals, but at least when I sell a fruit, I know it only nourishes the body and costs the soul nothing.